In the modern age, one of the most prominent yet underappreciated sports is that of swim. However, when we're looking at the Fort Collins and Northern Colorado swim scene, we have one of the most prominent and successful when we're looking at Colorado as a whole. One of the rising stars in this game is a freshman from Liberty Common High School, Josie Stahl. I had the opportunity to speak with both Josie and her coach, Rob Huey, right here at the Eudora Pool and Ice Center, just off of Prospect. The Eagles over at Liberty Common High School prove that birds of a feather swim together. So now that we're good, what were your expectations heading into your very first high school postseason?
I honestly had no idea what to expect because I'd never been in the high school season before. I've only ever done club meets before. But I just remember Coach Rob the whole season was just telling me, make sure to focus on conference and state. Like, that's when you're going to shine. That's when you'll do your best. Don't worry about the slow times you're going at dual meets. Like, conference and state is when you're going to shine. So I went into it a little apprehensive because I wasn't tapered for conference and I was worried about it. But I ended up being top seed in the 2IM going into finals, and I got to pick a walkout song, which was super fun, and that's always a blast. And I broke the school record in the 100 fly, which Addison Jones broke later, which is okay. She's a great swimmer. But it was just a really great experience, and it was positive, and it went a lot better than I thought. And I got 2 best times actually at conference. It was super fun, and the whole team and all the coaches, it just was super positive and super exciting to watch all my teammates get their new state cuts and go best times and make finals that they haven't done before.
Yeah, that's always a really good feeling when you're in, I mean, not unknown territory when it comes to the school, but all these people making that first real big achievement with it. And I mean, you mentioned club swim and I talked earlier with Coach Huey briefly about club swim. How would you describe the difference in environment between the high school competition environment, the practice environment, and compare that to your average club practice and club meet?
It is so much different, like a lot. Normally, club meets take 5 to 6 hours per session, which is super long. But the good thing about that is you get a lot of time between your races. And versus when I jumped over to high school swimming, I was swimming 2 relays and 2 individual events, so 4 events in like an hour and a half. So I was like exhausted by the end of it. But it was a really good experience. It definitely builds endurance for sure. And then practice-wise, I swim with a lot of older people on club and in high school, so that wasn't too different for me. But the practice that we do at club is really rigorous. We do like probably 6,000 to 7,000 yards per practice per day. It's a lot. And so high school practice is a little bit less than that, but I still think you have to work equally as hard because I want to get to know all the girls on the team and be a part of that team and just like expand my friendships with all of those girls. But it was hard in the beginning because being a club swimmer, I couldn't go to all the practices with all the girls at high school meets and high school practice. So it took me a little bit longer to get to know all of them because I wasn't at all the practices.
Well, I mean, the chemistry was palpable when I was at that conference meet, and I mean, it was probably between you guys and Berthoud as the loudest team at that meet. And I might be not biased because I like Berthoud, but biased because I was standing in the middle of their huddle while I was doing the announcing. But how would you describe, what's the best strategy to make that type of noise and make that kind of encouraging environment when you're at a meet or even just at practice, like a one-on-one?
I think it comes from seeing how hard all those girls work at practice every day. They all showed up every day, and you want them to feel good about themselves, and they're your friends, and you want them to just succeed. greatly. And so if you see one of your teammates that you know has been working really hard at practice get something that they totally earned and deserved, like, it is such an exciting moment, and it's just amazing to be a teammate and to watch that and to see how happy that made them. And I really like being a part of that experience because I think being a good teammate is just as important, if not even more important, than being a good swimmer.
Yeah, being a good swimmer will get you far in life, but being a good teammate and a good person, that's what gets you really, really
For sure.
far. And so, and you did bring up there a lot of the goals that a lot of people were trying to make, and everybody gets excited when you hit that, when you're able to get those 2 seconds off, when you're able to hit that flip at a competition for the first time.
For sure.
What were your goals heading into this season?
I wasn't too sure about what I could achieve, but I was watching this one swimmer that was on Liberty a few years ago. I saw her win 3A state in the 200 free, and I was in 7th grade at that time, and I was like, oh, that would just be such a cool thing to like experience. Like, what if I ended up winning? And so I went in hoping that maybe that would be a possibility. I wasn't sure the other girls in the state, that kind of competition, but I also wanted to make this thing called a futures cut, which is this really high level of club swimming that you can make to. So it's like state, and then zones, and then sectionals, and then features. And so you have to have certain times to make it to those meets, and I was hoping that I could get one at the high school meet.
And were you able?
I was, yes.
Very good. And has that already happened, or is that something that you're looking forward to here in the next couple months?
I would like to get more in the next couple months. I have 2 right now, but that's always a new goal that I'm excited to have. And I was 0.2 seconds from the 3A state record, which is a bummer, but then it gives me something next year to work towards, and I'm super excited to hopefully achieve that goal next year.
Heck yeah, and hopefully when we're looking at it, now something that I thought about actually, and this kind of plays into it, is as a freshman, you come in, storm in, nobody knows what to expect. You win it all against really, really experienced competition. It's not like kind of a weird comparison, but it's not like you're playing 6-man football. Like, you came in against the best of the best. And something that I've been wondering about is obviously there's going to be pressure around that. Pressure to, at the very least, make it to finals again next year. How are you going to be adapting to mentally and physically face that pressure? Because now there's a target on your back, and people are going to be coming for you.
That's how I felt at finals too. I heard of like 3 people from my friends that were like, they're coming for you, like they want to beat you, like they don't want you to get first. And so I was like really nervous before my race, but it doesn't matter honestly if you get first or second or third or 8th place. Like, just getting the opportunity to swim is such a great thing, and I love it so much. Like, it's like my biggest passion in life is swimming. I've done it for 9 years, and it brings me so much joy when I swim. So if I'm not having fun and I'm not enjoying it, then it's not worth it at all. So it's super exciting to win, but I would be just as excited if I got 2nd place, and I was super proud of myself and just happy that I even got in and raced, because every opportunity where you have a lane and you have a timer, like, that's the opportunity for you to have fun and do your best. And next year, there is a bit of pressure on me to hopefully win again, which is a goal of mine for next year. But I'm gonna attack it with the same mentality that I did this year. Just race the pool, do my absolute best, be proud of myself, and no matter what, when I touch that wall, know that I did the best I could.
Well, I dare say that's a mindset that's going to serve you well in life.
Thank you.
And I've always wondered, because there is so much noise going on around you. Every time you go up for air, you can just hear the walls shaking when you're in there. And there's so much going on. What do you think about when you're actually in the water, when you're going down? What do you think about, how do you get into that flow state?
I try not to think about my race before it, and then like I do several hours before, but like when I'm warming up and when I'm behind the block, I try not to think about it and block it out. And then right when I get on the block, I just take off and I go. And I think about trying to make, when I'm in the water, I'm like, this is going to be the most perfect pull out or underwater I'm going to do. I'm going to attack this wall, make it the fastest wall I can. I'm going to make sure I'm extending all my strokes. I'm just putting everything I have out there. And my strategy for the 100 breaststroke was just to take it out as fast as I ever had before and then come back even stronger. And that's what I did, and it worked well for me. And so yeah, I just think while you're in the water, you just have to think about racing and nothing else.
All right, that makes sense to me. When I'm competing, I have a little bit of a habit to overthink every single movement. And that's something that I really work on, is trying to, it's not the form of your shot, it's how you feel when you're shooting.
I used to do that all the time and overthink it, and then I would get in my head and I would not perform. But when you're up on the block, you just have to tell yourself, like, I've put in all the work I need to get where I am today, and I know what I can do and I know I can do it, so I just have to believe in myself and do the best I can.
Very good. Yeah, and I mean, the flow state is a powerful thing. But when it comes to the more technical aspects of it, I've got a friend who swims in college, and one thing that she talks about a lot is the different techniques to the different swims that she does. I believe she does the 100 fly. What would you say is your go-to technique when it comes to the breaststroke, at least?
I think breaststroke is one of the coolest strokes because I think nobody swims it the exact same way, and there's a lot of variation you can do. For me, I try to make my pullouts the longest and the most powerful I can because you actually get faster underwater than you do above the water.
Yeah.
And then when I'm doing my actual stroke, I try to reach my hands out as far as I can and press my chest forward and get my hips up so you have the most, like, I guess, aerodynamic stroke you can, and just keep that long stroke and glide, and then bring it back up as fast as you can and then push out again.
Okay.
And then when you attack your walls, you gotta hit it with 2 hands and then just go as fast as you can. And I think technique is a very important thing for swimming, because if you have a good technique, that builds a good foundation for you to be able to build speed easier. So I've worked a lot on my technique this past few years, and I will continue to work on it every day because you can always have better technique.
Yeah, it's the type of thing you never stop getting better at it, if that's the right way to, because not just the different environments and the different atmospheres, but everything is always changing. And something I've always wondered, this is a really dumb question. So obviously I'm growing out my hair a little bit right now. How do you fit all your hair under your cap?
My dad always says that to me, and he's like, if you just cut it all off, you'll go faster. But what I do for my races is I braid my hair so that it fits more compact into my cap, and then I just like twist it into a bun. And I guess it would be easier if I had less hair to fit it, but oh well.
Well, I mean, it'd be easier, but also, this is nice.
Yes, it is. I love my hair.
Yeah, and sorry, that one just came to me.
It's okay.
So a little bit more back on the serious track. I brought up earlier with Coach Huey how there are a lot of schools in Fort Collins, from the big 5As to your Patriot League rivals and technically Wellington, but Wellington and Timnath, and then if you had wanted to go to Pooter Community Academy, you could have. What drove you to decide Liberty Common is where I want to be for the next 4 years?
Well, I've gone to Liberty since I was in 4th grade, and I really like it because it's more of a small community, and so you get to know everyone super well, and it's like a family, and so I love that part of it. And I've known Coach Huey for a long, he taught my sister in 6th grade, and so I've known him, and he's an amazing coach, and I really love his style and the way he pushes everyone. And so when I knew he was going to be the Liberty coach, I was like, I have to go. I have to train with him. And I heard about how fun it is, the Liberty swim team, and how positive it is. And we were, I think, one of the best sports team we have at our school. We've won the conference championship for the last 4 years, and it's a pretty amazing team to be on. So,
soon enough, Coach Hugh was talking about Thompson Valley and their banners. Soon enough, you guys aren't going to have room for any more.
I know.
How does it feel? How does it feel to have the opportunity to continue to add to a legacy like that?
I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to be able to be a part of the team and add to the legacy, because I know not a lot of people on Liberty have ever won state, and it's a great accomplishment to be able to say I'm a part of those people that have. And I feel like super honored to be a part of it because it's a great legacy.
There you go. And Coach Huey again mentioned it earlier, you mentioned it. You have had those 4 conference championships in a row, but you have some tough competition in the Patriot League, Berthoud, Wellington, Eaton. You have some really tough competition. And when you're looking at it, either in conference or out of conference, who was your favorite swimmer to be matched up with over the course of this high school season?
From another team?
Yeah, from another team.
I would say Corinne Roberts on Berthoud. She's a junior, and we swim both of the same best events. And she's such a sweet girl. I love racing against her. She did beat me at conference in the 2IM by less than a second. And that was just a super fun race, and I love getting to race with her. And then we raced at state, and she ended up getting second. And it was just super fun to be able to share that we're in the same Patriot League, and then at state we're the 2 top breaststrokers in the state, which is super fun. And I love getting to know her and race with her.
Very nice. And you brought up Corinne in particular, which that 200 race at conference was lights out. Just one of my favorite moments from that day. But you're looking around, I guess, the Patriot League in general, Northern Colorado. You have Liberty Common, you have Berthoud, you have an up-and-coming Wellington with girls like Cody Monajem. Do you think that, based on what you've seen at least, Northern Colorado, how do you think Northern Colorado swim stacks up with the rest of the state?
Oh, I think Northern Colorado has some of the best swimmers in the state, like even in club swimming too. Like, we just have amazing swimmers in Northern Colorado, and even if you go out of state, you still see those same Northern Colorado girls at the top of the leaderboard, and it's so much fun to get to race against them and to get to practice with them, and because we just have amazing talent here, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and looking forward, the start of what is sure, I don't want to put extra pressure on you, but it's the start of what's likely going to be a pretty eventful career. And when it's all said and done, in 3 years, you're standing on that graduation stage, diploma in hand, throwing your cap up, everybody's in the stands cheering. What do you want to be able to look back on?
I want to be able... Sorry.
No, you go.
I want to be able to look back and say that I was kind to everyone that I met, and I was a great teammate to everyone, and that I did my best and tried my hardest to everything I put my mind to, whether that be swimming or academics. I think it's important to have an all-around, well-rounded personality and be able to do things like that. And it would be awesome if I could win state again and again, but I would just like to be able to look back and say I did the best I could, and the outcome that happened was what was supposed to happen, and I'm going to continue to learn and grow from it no matter what the outcome is.
Very good. Yeah, that's a good mindset to have about it. It's I've seen a couple of people where, you know, they get that early success and then all of a sudden it's, I have to be first or bust, and then that just ends up harming them long term. So it's good to hear that you have a more measured approach to it. And once, obviously your high school career is not going to last forever. When that's all said and done, are you thinking about competing in college potentially? Do you have if you're comfortable with answering, do you have a dream school that you're like, if the stars aligned and I had a genie right here, this is where I'm going to compete for, I guess, in 3 years to round out the next 7 years?
I would love to compete in college. I think it's such a great experience and it's so much fun, and you make so many new friends and teammates from that. My dream school is UT, like University of Austin at Texas. They have the second best, or like one of the best, women's swim and dive programs in the whole country. And I've gotten to train at their facility for the last 2 summers because I do a camp there. And I've gotten to meet the head coaches like Eddie Reese, which are some of the best swim coaches in the world. And it is just the most beautiful campus and the most beautiful pool, and they have amazing coaches. And I know it is really hard to get into. You have to be a very good swimmer to go there. But I think it would be awesome if I got the opportunity to swim there.
When you said that it's very difficult to get in, I just thought, says the girl who won state as a freshman and was 0.2 seconds off the state record. But my roommate from last year, funny enough, Nico, he was from Austin.
Oh.
And he couldn't say enough good about the city. So it sounds like that. I have my fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
That's where you end up. You've mentioned that for the past 9 years, like, swim has been yours.
Yeah.
You love it. It's what you want to do. It's your life. What could you tell me, like, run me through the story of what got you into swim and what keeps you motivated to keep going day in, day out, 10 practices a week?
Yeah. My dad used to swim when he was younger, and so I think that's the reason why I started getting into it and started joining a team and everything. And I'm super grateful that he put me in swim because obviously I found my path in life, and that's swimming. And I think the thing that motivates me is having so many talented people around me that are my friends, and I want to see them succeed, and I hope that they want to see me succeed as well. And we push each other every day to be better and better. And the girls and the boys on my team, they're just amazing swimmers, and they push me every day to be the best version of myself. And I have goals that I want to achieve, like swimming in college and all that. And I know that if I put my work in, it'll happen, and I'll get where I'm supposed to be. And my coaches, like Coach Huey, and my fast coaches, like Coach Doug, Coach Mike, Coach Henrik, they all just inspire me so much, and they are tough, but they encourage me and just help me be the best I can be.
Okay, so it's great that you have this much passion for it, and you have so many people around you, like, being your cheerleaders and helping you to get to that next level to fulfill all the goals that you want. But everyone knows that sometimes you can have too much of a good thing. Even the best need a break every once in a while. What do you do when you get to that point of, I just need like 20 minutes where I'm purely resting? What is your go-to in that situation?
It is super hard because swimming is so physically exhausting and demanding, and you have to constantly be in the pool. And it is really tough, especially with the academics that I do at Liberty, it's really hard to manage being on club swim and Liberty homework and Liberty high school swim. But I think you just have to tell yourself like when to take a break, and that it's okay to take a break every now and then. And you just have to let yourself rest. And honestly, sleep is the best way to do that. If you just sleep, then normally the next day you can come back and be your best. But if you need a longer break, it's okay to take that break, and everyone who knows you will support that. You need to take that break. Thankfully, I haven't had to do that yet. I might have to in my future if it gets like too much or too hard, but no matter what, I know I can always come back to swimming and it'll always be there.
Very nice. Yeah, it's good that you know when to when to calm down and when to take that time for yourself. It's very important. So you've been doing this for a very, very long time, and I know people say, oh yeah, baseball is the most superstitious sport, basketball is superstitious. All athletes are superstitious. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So what has become your pre-meet ritual? Like what is your night before, morning of, like, and we already talked about behind the blocks, but could you run me through that?
I do a lot of mental training, I guess, where I think about my race, visualize my race, talk about all the things I'm grateful for. And I normally do that like the week before, like every day, and the morning before I swim. That helps me. I have a very specific warm-up routine that I always do before my race, where I just like get all my jitters out and then do some fast 25s at the end to get myself ready to go. And then like right before I get on the blocks, I have this whole like process where I like shake out my arms and legs, and I like practice doing my stroke, and I practice doing my dolphin kicks, and I just like, it looks really weird and stupid, but it helps me, and I do it every time before I swim, or I just like.
Yeah. It's not stupid if it works.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that reminds me of what I used to do, because I used to do like speech, and before every speech, the judges hated it, but I would just do like a.
Yeah.
And just do the quick run through of grounding yourself to where you're at, which, I mean, it sounds like you got a pretty good handle on, but.
Thank you. I do this thing where I like take my arm and I spin it around like as fast as I can, like 5 times. And like all my relay teammates, they're like, what are you doing? Like, but it just like gets me in the zone and it helps me, so.
Yeah. And I mean, the teammates all have their own different thing, but they never seem to understand each other's thing.
No, yeah.
But I mean, you had a pretty solid team going with you to state this year. Like, you had a lot of, as I said earlier, really connected teammates, all pushing towards that common goal. How would you describe your first, like, CHSAA state swim experience?
It was amazing. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I thought it was amazing. In club swim, there aren't very many girls on my team, so I'm surrounded by a lot of older boys. But it was so much fun to be around just all girls at state. It was, because I don't get to do that a lot, and it was just super positive. And all the coaches there, Coach Emma, Coach Zupanzik, Coach Huey, they were so supportive, and there were so many people there cheering, and it was amazing. And all the girls, they were up there cheering for me when you walk out, and they're all like, yay! They're just all cheering for you. And it's super positive, and I thought it was a great experience and a great way to start my high school state.
Oh, that's awesome. And I mean, you go through, you're going round by round, and as we were talking about earlier, you get prelims, you're going against one of the best across all levels in the state. You get that 1 seed for the final round. Could you walk me through like your thought process, like when you first look up at the scoreboard and you're like, is that actually my time? Or like, what were you thinking? And then what was your thought process moving into that final round and after you won?
Well, so after prelims and I saw that I had gone the top seed for finals, I was just like ecstatic. I was so happy. And I know the girl next to me wasn't too thrilled that I beat her because she had won like the last 2 years. But she was a great competitor, and she was a super good like sport, and she was very nice about it. And I just remember being so excited and looking over at like Coach Zupanzik and Coach Huey, and they were just like jumping, and they were like had their arms in the air, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that, because in that prelims race I'd broken the school record by about 2 seconds, and and then going into finals I was really nervous because I heard all these girls wanted to beat me, and they were like out for me, I guess, but I just like knew, I was like, this is like what I love to do, this is what I meant to do, so I'm just gonna go have fun, no pressure, whatever happens, happens. And then when I looked up and saw that I won, I was just so thrilled that I was able to do that as a freshman, and it was a great experience.
And was it one of those types of things where like it hit you right away, or was it the type of thing where you didn't fully comprehend it until you were on that podium staring at everybody, or even until you got home?
I think like I knew that I won when I touched the wall, and it was great, but then once everyone else had been called up to the podium, and then they were like said that I had been first, I was just like over the moon, because obviously winning is a great feeling, and I think you have to be like humble and cautious about how you take that win, but it was super positive and awesome. And then my club coach came and watched me, and so I got to go up and see him, and he was just super proud of me, which was an awesome feeling. And then talking to Coach Huey after was just amazing, and he's like, I can't believe you did that, like that's one of the most amazing things, like freshmen never win. So it was just an awesome experience. And then coming home like a few days after and seeing my name in the newspaper and stuff, like that's never happened to me before, and that was just amazing, and it was almost unreal.
Yeah, and I never won state in anything, but I remember that feeling of at a competition, at a meet, and it's everybody's name gets called, and all of a sudden you're the last one up there, and you're like, wait a second, where did everybody go?
I know.
What happened? There were like 30 people here. Has anything, I mean, you talked a little bit about clubs, so this is going to be a two-sided question. Has anything changed for you in terms of like club and how like maybe the coaches or how they tell you to run your sets or anything? Has that changed since you won state, and what was the community response like at both like wider Fort Collins and at Liberty Common in particular?
I got a bunch of congratulations for winning, especially at school, because I was a freshman and like nobody really knew of me that much, and they're like, wow, like you won, that's awesome. And everyone on my team told me I did a great job, which felt amazing. But you know, as soon as you win, like you're only good as your last performance, so you have to get in and keep training even harder and harder, so you're able to do it again the next day, or you're able to do it again the next year, and there always will be someone that's better than you. So you have to keep working every single day to achieve your dreams and your goals, and that's exactly what I did.
I mean, you mentioned it there, you're only as good as your last result. What does a successful day look like for you?
Honestly, a successful day is waking up and going to school and going to practice and doing all the yards at the practice, not skipping out, doing all your reps for dry land, just making it through your day, feeling proud of what you did, like finish everything, complete everything that you want to do, and go to bed feeling happy and content with yourself, and then wake up the next day and do it again. Obviously, it's different in like a championship sort of way. A successful day would be to just know that you got in the pool, raced your hardest, and did your absolute best, and that's all I think you could ever want to do. I know winning is obviously a great thing and it's such an amazing accomplishment, but I think it's a win even if you get in and set a personal best or get in and feel like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, and I did. So.
Very good. And second to last one. When we're looking at, we've talked a lot about your goals and what you're going to be looking forward to, or what you're going to be doing 7 years down the line, which is a long, long time. It's going to go by like this, but it's a long time. What are you most looking forward to this next high school swim season?
I am looking forward to meeting the new freshmen that come when I'm a sophomore, because I know this one girl that's on my club team is going to come to Liberty, and I'm super excited to swim with her. And hopefully I could be able to win again at state. That would be an amazing accomplishment, just to get to know everyone even better and to have fun and make it a really positive experience.
Very nice. And to close it out, is there anything else that you would want the people of Fort Collins and of Northern Colorado to know about Liberty Commons Swim, Club Swim, or just you as Josie Stahl?
I think something to know about Liberty Commons Swim is it is probably one of the most positive team environments I think you could ever have. And we have the best coaches ever. Like, as I already said, Coach Huey is an amazing coach. Like, the amount of dedication and effort he puts into making sure we are formulated right to win the meet or to have the best chance possible. And he's always super compassionate about how you feel before and after your races. And he puts in so much hard work for the coaching, and I respect that so much. And then Coach Zupanzik is like a volunteer coach. Like, he doesn't have to be there, but he wants to be there, and he knows so much about swimming. And I love getting to talk to him about swimming. It's so much fun, and he has always something great to say about my technique or what I need to work on, which is amazing. And then Coach Emma, she's goes to CSU, and she's so nice, and I just love hearing what she has to say, and she always gets my splits on races, so I really appreciate that. And then club swimming, I think people think swimming is easier than it is. I think it's underestimated as a sport, because not a lot of people know about it and hear about it a lot, and it's really hard. And you have to put in a lot of work to achieve your goals and get to where you want to be and be on a team where everyone is just as good and better as you, and you have to work to earn your spot on a team for sure. And my mom and my dad are my biggest supporters ever, and they drive me to swim every single day, and I'm so grateful for them. They support me at all my meets, and my coaches on FAST, Coach Mike, Coach Doug, Coach Henrik, all of them, super supportive, and I love getting to work with them, and they push me so hard, and they just know what's best, and they know, like, it's not easy and it's never going to be easy, but if you stick to it, keep that determination and that want to keep getting better, then you're gonna be successful no matter what.
Very nice. Well, thank you very, very much.
Thank you for having me.